Good morning, students. We are going to continue with the same chapter, Evans tries an O level. This is page number 81, and we have already read that this is a story of Evans. Evans was a prisoner. He wished to sit for the examination. He wanted to he wanted to achieve some qualification in O level German language. This was the diploma that he wanted to get, and for that, a, an examination was being conducted in the cell, in the prison itself. जेल के अंदर ही उसके लिए एक एग्जामिनेशन कंडक्ट हो रहा है, and he had been given tuition classes by a German teacher for last 6 months, and everything was fine. The examination was almost over, and after the examination, Stephens was asked to see him off to the main gate. And when Stephen actually seed him off, and when he actually gave him farewell to McCleary, he came back. After seeing McCleary off, he came back to the place, but before having a coffee in the canteen, he just wanted to clear his doubts, and he just wanted to ensure that everything was fine. He came back to the cell, and when he peeped through the peephole, he found something unusual. Something was really shocking. What was that? This is the last paragraph of page number 81. He re-entered D wing, made his way along to Ivan's cell, and opened the peephole once more. Oh no, Christ! No, there sprawled back in Ivan's chair was a man. What actually happened? When he looked through the peephole, he actually found that in Ivan's chair there was somebody sitting. And for a semi second, he thought it must be Evans. He actually thought that maybe it was nobody else but Evans. Then what happened? A grey regulation blanket slipping from his shoulders means the person who was sitting inside on Evans' chair, he had a blanket on his shoulder. The front of his closely cropped, irregularly tufted hair awash with fierce red blood which had dripped already through the small black beard, and was even now spreading horribly over the white clerical collar and down into the black clerical front. What actually happened? The person who was sitting inside on Ivan's chair, he had cropped hair. Cropped means very short hair, and irregularly tufted hair. Irregularly tufted hair means bunched, knotted. Means the person who was sitting on the chair, he had very short hair. He had irregularly cropped hair, and his hair were actually full of blood. They were awash. Awash means wet. They were very wet with fierce red blood. A lot of blood was to be seen on the head of the person, and it had dripped. Dripped means it started dropping. It getting dropped already through the small black beard, and the person, he had black beard, and from the black beard a lot of blood was dripping through, and was even now spreading horribly over the white clerical collar and down into the black clerical front. And his black clerical front means his clothes, they were already wet with blood. Stephen shouted wildly for Jackson, and the words appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McCleary's ears, for the minister's hand felt feebly for a handkerchief from his pocket, and held it to his bleeding head, the blood seeping slowly through the white linen. What actually happened? Stephen shouted wildly for Jackson. Now what actually happened? He came to know, he understood that something was wrong, and he started asking for help from Jackson. He was shouting for Jackson. by calling his name, and the words appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McLeary's ears. And McLeary's ears, they were also full of blood, but he could listen something. For the minister's hand felt feebly for a handkerchief from his pocket. And who is the minister here? Minister means McLeary, the person who was sitting on the chair. He actually put his hand inside the pocket, and he took out a handkerchief and held it to his bleeding head. Just to stop the bleeding, he put his hands on the blood, on that wound, maybe from where the blood was coming out. The blood seeping slowly through the white linen, he gave a long, low moan. What is the meaning of moaning? Moaning means crying in pain. Karahana, dard se karahana. So now this man, McLeary, was actually crying in pain and tried to speak also. He was trying to speak, and but his voice trailed away. And by the time Jackson had arrived and dispatched Stephens to ring the police and the ambulance, Jackson had arrived and dispatched Stephens to ring the police and the ambulance. The handkerchief was a sticky, squelchy wad of cloth. Now, what actually happened? Jackson came and he understood that the man, whoever was there inside the cell, he was badly injured, and he at the same time called the police, plus he called the ambulance also. And when he had called the police, at that time the handkerchief that was being used by the person to stop the bleeding was actually, it became very hard because the blood had clotted. McLeary slowly raised himself, his face twisted slightly with pain. Didn't worry about the ambulance, man. I'm alright, I'm alright. But McLeary, who was actually badly injured, he was again and again insisting that they should not get worried about the ambulance. He was really right. He said, get the police. He said, don't call the ambulance. First of all, they had to get the help of the police. I know where he means he knew where Evans had gone. He closed his eyes, and another drip of blood splashed like a huge red raindrop on the wooden floor. His hand felt along the table, found the German question paper, and grasped it tightly in his blood-stained hand. Then he actually took a German question paper in his hands. Who? The person who was badly injured, McLeary. He took the question paper from the table and he said, get the governor, I know where Evans was. He actually thought that he knew where Evans had gone, so he wanted the help of the police, or maybe he wanted to help the police in getting or catching Evans back. Almost immediately, sirens were sounding. Prison officers barked orders. Puzzled prisoners pushed their way along the corridors. Doors were banged and bolted, and phones were ringing everywhere. Now, what happened? Almost immediately, sirens were sounding. Means after that, a lot of sounds of sirens were to be heard in the prison, and it was actually a mess. Puzzled prisoners pushed their way along the corridors. Means all the prisoners, they got puzzled, and they were running here and there. Doors were banged and bolted. All the doors were closed, they were bolted again, and phones were ringing everywhere. And within a minute, McLeary, with Jackson and Stephens supporting him on either side, his face now streaked and caked with drying blood, was greeted in the prison yard by the governor. And then Stephens and Jackson, they had taken McLeary out of the cell of Evans, and they had, you can say, taken him out in the prison yard, where he was greeted. He met with governor, and the governor was perplexed. What is the meaning of perplexed here? Perplexed means he was totally confused. And grim means sad. So governor was perplexed. He was really confused. He did not know what was happening. We must get you to hospital immediately. I just don't. He said that, governor said that the person McCleary was to be taken to the hospital. He required medical care. You have called the police. Yes, yes, they are on their way. But Evans, who was badly injured, he just wanted to know whether the police had been called or not. And the official said that they had already called the police. I'm all right. I'm all right. Look here. Awkwardly, he opened the German question paper and thrust it before the governor's face. It's there. Do you see what I mean? Now, governor, actually, what happened? This McCleary, who was badly injured, he just wanted to tell them that he was really right. But first of all, he actually wanted to show the question paper. He wanted to show the question paper to the governor, and he wanted to convince him that he knew where Evans had gone. The governor looked down and realized what McCleary was trying to tell him. A photocopied sheet had been carefully and cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper. Now the governor actually took the question paper in his hands and he looked at what McCleary was trying to tell him, and he noticed that there was a photocopied sheet had been carefully and cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper. Now he understood what was being said by McCleary, because now he understood that there was a photocopied sheet that was superimposed. Here means that it was placed, it was you can say stuck with or over the last page of the question paper. It was pasted on the last page. This is page number 83. You see what they have done, governor. You see, his voice trailed off. Trailed off here means it grew weaker. Trailed off means it grew weaker. So in a very weak voice, McCleary, who was badly injured, he wanted to tell the governor that what actually happened. As the governor, dredging the layers of long neglected learning, willed himself to translate the German text before him. But in the meantime, the governor was actually, what he was doing, he wanted to read the question paper. He just wanted to get some more hints about the escape of Evans. And this was written in German language. This is written in German language. C. Solen Webern, whatever this is written, examining. These lines are written in German language and these were read by the governor. You must follow the plan already something. The vital point in time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something means this was the translation. This was what he was able to understand. The governor read the language German and he actually made a conclusion that this was the meaning. And what was written? You must follow the plan. This was, you here means Evans. Evans should follow the plan already something. The vital point in time is 3 times. 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something. Don't hit him too hard. Remember, this was also written. He is a minister. This is written. And don't overdo the Scots accent. Means don't speak a lot of Scottish accent or in Scottish tone before anybody. So all these things were written as instructions and the part of plan for Evans. A fast approaching siren wailed to its crescendo, and then there was a siren that actually pitched high. Highest pitch of a siren is called as crescendo. So at a great, you can say, pitch, a siren was to be heard. The great doors of the prison yard were pushed back and a white police car squealed to a jerky halt beside them. And then there was a white police car that actually came into the scene, into the Oxford prison. And who had come in this police van? Superintendent Carter. Detective Superintendent Carter had come, and he swung himself. Swung means he jumped out of the passenger seat and saluted the governor. What the hell is happening, sir? And turning to McCleary, Christ, who has hit him? Now, he was shocked to see that McCleary was badly injured and he also wanted to know from the governor what kind of things were actually going on in the cell or in the prison. But McCleary cut across whatever explanation the governor might have given. But just before governor could speak something, McCleary interrupted and badly injured McCleary. He said, "Elsfield Way, officer. I know where Evans had gone." He was breathing heavily and leaned for support against the side of the car where the imprint of his hand was left in tarnished crimson. Tarnished crimson means in red color. Why? Because his hands, they were full of blood, and when he actually touched the side of the car, his imprint of hand was left behind on the car, on the paint of the car. In bewilderment, Carter looked to the governor for guidance. Now, Carter actually was bewildered. In bewilderment means he was totally, you can say, confused. He did not know what was going on. So he wanted to take some help from the governor. "Take him off with you. If you think he will be all right. He is the only one who seems to know what is happening." Now, this was said by the governor because governor did not know what was to be done. He was in a confusion. So he said, and he asked Carter that if Carter wanted, he should take badly injured McCleary with him, because only McCleary knew what was going on, and other people, they were bewildered or they were confused. Carter opened the back door and helped McCleary inside, and within a few seconds, the car leaped away in a spurt of gravel. And then Carter actually made McCleary sit inside the car and he took him away. "Elsfield Way," McCleary said. Now, McCleary, when he entered the car, he said that they should go to Elsfield Way. This is very important place, Elsfield Way. According to McCleary, badly injured McCleary, they should go to Elsfield Way because according to him, Evans had gone to the same place. And there it was, starting up at the governor from the last few lines of the German text. From Elsfield Way, drive to the Headington roundabout where, yes, of course, the examination board was in Elsfield Way. Now what happened? McCleary had said, and there it was staring up at the governor from the last few lines of the German text. From Elsfield Way, drive to the Headington roundabout. This was written on the question paper that from Elsfield Way, Evans should go to the Headington roundabout. This is again very important, that Evans should go to Elsfield Way. This was written on the question paper, and after reaching Elsfield Way, he should move to the Headington roundabout. And now the governor came to know that the examination board was actually in the Elsfield Way, and someone from the board must have been involved in the escape plan, because the governor came to know, he understood that examination board office was in Elsfield Way, and maybe because Elsfield Way was the place, was the destination for Evans, maybe somebody would be helping him out from the examination board office. Must have been involved. And from the very beginning, the question paper itself, the correction slip, means all these things may be or might be the part of the escape plan, because question paper came from the examination board and the correction slip came from the same place, and Evans had gone to Elsfield Way again. So there was some link with the board exam, you can say examination board office. The governor turned to Jackson and Stephens. "I don't need to tell you what has happened, do I?" Now, governor was really angry with Jackson and Stephens, because even though they had taken all the precautions, their, you can say, prisoner Evans had ditched and cheated them again, and he had his escape and he had run away again. His voice sounded, this is page number 84. His voice sounded almost calm in its scathing contempt. Means he was really talking to these people in contempt. Contempt here means in a very, with some hatred. He really was talking with some hate. "And which one of you two morons was it who took Evans for a nice little walk?" to the main gates and waved him bye-bye. Now, governor wanted to know that who was the one who had taken him out for the main gates, who had seen McCleary off to the main, or Evans, who had given farewell to Evans by saying goodbye. And here there is a word moron. Moron here means idiot. Who was that idiot who had taken this man, McCleary, out to the main gates? He wanted to know. It was just me, sir, stammered Stephen. Stammered means he was speaking haltingly, and because he was really afraid and nervous. So, in nervousness, he said, "It was me, sir, just like you told me, sir. I could have sworn." But he said that it was actually asked by the governor, because governor had called him to see McCleary off to the main gate. So whatever had said by the governor, he had done the same thing. What? Just like I told you, you say. What the hell? But governor said that he did not know anything about it, because he never said, he never asked him to take McCleary to the main gate. When you rang, sir, means when you called. Rang means when you made a phone call to me and told me to. When was that? The governor's voice was a whiplash. Now, governor was really afraid, and at the same time, he was very angry. Angrily, he said that when was it? Means he never said, he never asked Stephens to go to the main gate. You know, sir, about 20 past 11, just before, means just 5 or 3 minutes before the end of the examination at 11:22 or maybe 11:20. You called me and you said that I had to accompany McCleary to the main gate. I had to see him off. मुझे उसको बाहर जेल के दरवाजे तक छोड़ने जाना है. You blithering idiot man. Blithering means you foolish man, you idiot man. It wasn't me who rang you. Don't you realize? Means, can't you realize? Don't you realize that it was not a call made by me? I never called you. But what was the use? He had used the telephone at that time, but not only to try to get through to the examination board. Means, they could not understand that it was a fake call and it never came from the examination board. Because at that time, when governor wanted to check whether the call had come from the examination board or not, at that time the telephone of examination board was also busy. He shook his head in growing despair. Means, the governor shook his head. He started shaking his head in despair, means in sadness, and turned on the senior prison officer. Then he turned his face to the senior officer, that is Mr. Jackson, and he said to Jackson, "As for you, Jackson, how long have you been pretending you have got a brain?" Means you are really empty brained man. You don't have any brain, you don't have any intelligence, and you are really an idiot. How long have you been pretending you have got a brain? Well, I'll tell you something, Jackson, your skull is empty. Means he was really angry. Governor was angry at Jackson and at Stephens also. Absolutely empty. It was Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Ivan's cell the previous evening, and it was Jackson who had confidently reported that there was nothing hidden away there. Nothing at all. Because governor had given the instructions and the duty to the senior officer Jackson that he had to go into the cell of Evans and he had to check, verify whether there should not be anything which could be used by Evans as a weapon. But how he actually managed to do all such things, even though they had taken all the precautions, even though Jackson had reported that nothing had hidden away, means nothing was there inside the cell, and they had taken his razor plus his scissors and his nail file also. And yet Evans had somehow managed to conceal not only and this is very important, because Evans had somehow managed to conceal means to hide. छुपाने में वो कामयाब हो गया. किस चीज को छुपाने में? only a not only a false beard, a pair of spectacles, a dog collar, and the rest of his clerical paraphernalia. Means all these things were there with with Evans, even though they had taken all the precautions, but he was the one. Means Evans was able to conceal, to hide all these things. He was able to manage a false beard, एक नकली दाढ़ी, a pair of spectacles, एक ऐनक, a dog collar, means a kind of cloth that would be worn generally by the priest of a church, and the rest of the clerical paraphernalia, all the things which could be used by the priest of a church. Paraphernalia means the belongings, but also some sort of weapon with which he had given McCleary such a terrible blow. Not only all these things were managed by him, but he actually arranged a weapon also. This is very important because McCleary was badly injured by this man. It means that Evans had got a weapon also with which he hit McCleary on the head. A prison van backed alongside, but the governor made no immediate move. Means there came a prison van, but governor was not interested. He looked down again at the last line of the German. But he was reading the German question paper, and he read, "To the Haddington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to New Graben." Means after reaching Haddington roundabout, Evans was asked to go to New Graben. Now, New Graben, what on earth? Means governor did not know what was this name and where this place was, New Graben, because he had not heard this name before. New grave, never heard of it. There was a wave grave somewhere near Reading, but no, it was probably a code word, and then it hit him. Newbury. God, yes, Newbury was a pretty big sort of place. Then he reached to a conclusion that maybe the place was Newbury, but they had written it as New Graben. And governor came to know that maybe this man Evans would go to Newbury after going away from Haddington roundabout. He rapped out his orders to the driver, and after knowing this, after reaching to a conclusion that Evans would have gone to this place, he actually gave orders to Jackson and Stephens that they should go to this place, St. Aldate's police station, and when they get there, they should speak to Mr. or Chief Inspector Bell. He rapped out his orders to the driver. He asked the driver to take, and he said, St. Aldate's police station, and step on it. Take Jackson and Stephens here, and when you get there, ask for Bell. Means ask for Bell, Chief Inspector Bell, and got that. He leaped the stairs to his office 3 at a time, got Bell on the phone immediately, and put the facts before him. And then he actually went upstairs and he made a phone call to Chief Inspector Bell, and he gave instructions. "Well, get him, sir," said Bell. "We will get him, sir. We will get him with a bit of luck." This was said by Bell because Bell was asked to help these officers, Stephens and Jackson, and Bell said that he would help them and they will get this Evans at any cost. The governor sat back and lit a cigarette. You gods, what a beautifully laid plan it had been. Means governor was really impressed by the greatly implemented plan. What a great plan it was, according to the governor. What a clever fellow Evans was. Careless, leaving that question paper behind. But governor was pretty happy because he knew that they had a clue about Evans, and this is the carelessness of Evans, that he had left the question paper behind. But then they all made their mistakes somewhere. Well, almost all of them, and that is why very, very shortly Mr. Clever Evans would be back inside doing his once more, and governor was very, you can say, confident that they will catch this Mr. Clever Evans again. The phone on his desk erupted in a strident burst, and then there was a phone and it actually started ringing, and the Superintendent Carter informed him that McCleary had spotted Evans driving off along Elsfield Way. They had got the number of the car, all right, and had given chase immediately. And then this Superintendent Carter, he informed the governor that McCleary had seen the car which was being driven by Evans, and Evans had gone towards the Elsfield Way, and they had noted the number of the car also, but had lost him at the Headington roundabout. But after Elsfield Way, this man had gone to Headington roundabout, and after that he would have doubled back into the city. Doubled back means he would have turned back into the city only. From the Headington roundabout, they actually missed him, and they would have come into the city back. No, said the governor quietly. No, he is on his way to Newbury. He explained his reasons for believing so and left it at that. It was a police job now, not his. He was just another good for a giggle gullible governor. That was all. Now, what actually happened? Governor very quietly said that the person, Evans, would have gone to Newbury, and they should not, you can say, try to find him anywhere else now, and it was the job of the police according to him. And he proved, this is very important, governor had proved that he was just another good for a giggle gullible governor. Now what is the meaning of giggle? Giggle means to be laughed at. ये हंसने के लायक है governor, plus he, or maybe suitable to be laughed at, and he was gullible also. Gullible means somebody who get convinced easily, who believe things very easily. So this governor was good for a giggle, means he was suitable to be laughed at, हंसने के लायक character है उसका, plus he was gullible also, means he was really believing things very easily. Then what happened? By the way, Carter, I hope you managed to get McCleary to the hospital, all right? Now he said that by the way, Carter, I hope you managed to get McCleary to the hospital, all right. Means governor wanted to know that what was the condition of McCleary, because he was badly injured and he should be, you can say, shown to a doctor. He should be given medical treatment by the doctor in a hospital. Yes, he is in the Redcliffe now, really groggy. Groggy here means he was really, you can say, weak and unable to speak. And when we got to the examination offices and they rang for the ambulance from there, means when they went near the examination office, those people, they actually called for the ambulance, and the person, McCleary, badly injured McCleary, would have gone to the Redcliffe hospital. The governor rang the Redcliffe a few minutes later and asked for the accident department, and after that the governor just wanted to call and wanted to know whether McCleary was there or not. Tomorrow we are going to continue from the same page, page number 85, last paragraph. Till then, take a very good care of yourself. Stay back home. Study these chapters. Study hard. Thank you.